It's just
No,
us,
no,
okay.
no one's
So I don't have to say, right?
Nope.
That means like nobody can actually see us on Zoom, so I don't even need to read the proclamation, right?
From a protocol statement, I'd say it anyway.
Okay, all right.
That way you're covered.
All right,
At
Steve.
some point in time, ideally,
Doug, are you
the
gonna-
video
do
will
you wanna
start.
do-
Sorry,
you
everybody, but we're
Bruce,
having a
Mike?
little technical difficulties
three?
tonight. So there's no video on the Zoom
I'm
link,
gonna do a quick intro.
but we
You want me
will,
to go to Doug?
I don't think there's anything live.
Yeah.
I don't think anything's
Right.
live.
They're
But we're
rec-
gonna record it.
They're
Well, sewer
recording.
superintendent.
so
It's
we're-
getting
yeah.
recorded, so it'll be able, it'll be
Recording in
available.
progress.
Now it's being recorded, so it will be available.
Hey, Gus.
You guys like want to say something?
Yeah.
No. Time being 6:55, I would like to call the Economic Development Subcommittee May 1st, 2024 meeting to order. Note to all residents, all citizens are welcome to attend public meetings in person, to view the live meeting remotely. Citizens are encouraged to watch the live stream of Franklin Town Hall TV YouTube channel or the live broadcast on Comcast Channel 9, Verizon Channel 29.
2 votes?
Meetings are also archived by Franklin TV on the Franklin Town Hall TV YouTube channel and shown on repeat on Comcast Channel 9 and Verizon Channel 29 for those of you who missed the live meeting. To listen to the meeting remotely, citizens may call in this number, 1-929-205-6099. This will not permit participation in the meeting. To participate in the meeting remotely, citizens are able to join by Zoom webinar. The link is on the agenda on the town hall website, and yeah, okay, I think that's enough. Find the link there. All participants will be automatically muted upon joining the webinar. In order to speak, participants who have entered full name and email address need to select raise hand function to request to be unmuted. All speakers will be required to state their full name and street address before commenting. Okay, yeah. Got through that. Awesome. Okay, so our agenda tonight, we have the grease trap bylaw. Jamie, do you want to start, or do we go to Kathy?
Really quickly, Madam Chair, so just for the folks watching maybe from home, tonight the EDC is considering essentially a house cleaning item of establishing in town bylaw what has been town policy maybe for almost 20 years, which is a grease trap bylaw. And I'm going to invite up Doug Martin, the water sewer superintendent, and Kathy Liberty. Kathy, maybe you could just go really quickly through the Board of Health's position on the matter, and then Doug can walk the group through the bylaw, which was our policy, but now we're proposing to put it into code. Kathy? Yeah.
Yeah,
Up
come
to the
on.
mic.
You can come here, or you
Oh,
can
no, go
sit
ahead.
down if you want. I don't.
Make yourself comfortable or
Yeah.
whatever, Kathy.
Yeah,
Good job, Doug.
yeah. Come
Great
on,
job.
Doug.
Nobody's watching, they're just listening.
And you know, like you're with friends here, right?
Yeah.
So
Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, you go first.
All right. So, basically,
could you put the microphone closer to you, though,
oh, sure.
Kathy?
Yep, thank you.
Thank you.
So basically, when a food establishment is on septic, and that does occur from time to time, according to the 310 CMR 15.230, the Board of Health can enforce an exterior grease trap.
Okay.
So I believe it's a DPW's intention to mirror that in the town and also have the Board of Health be a designee for when we're doing food establishment inspections, we can go in and look at pumping records and, make sure the grease traps are being cleaned.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really that in a nutshell,
Okay.
yeah.
So that,
Questions?
so so even if the business, so if the business is on a septic, then you want a grease trap before the water that goes into the septic?
No, there's an interior grease trap and an exterior grease trap.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's like, almost like a septic system, right? So the grease
Mhm.
flows through and there's, sludge and the water comes out.
Right.
It's just a process. So that you don't get sludge and grease into the main, DPW, the sewer pipes.
The sewer pipe.
Yeah.
So we're protecting the infrastructure of the sewer
Correct, yeah.
by doing that. Okay.
And then I'll also add too that
like Jamie said, it's kind of been DPW policy. So anytime there was a permit pulled for like a new kitchen facility, am I correct? Or maybe there was a major upgrade to an existing facility, an exterior grease trap was required. We just never had it in the bylaws. And because of that, there was no real means and methods for inspection. So that's kind of what this bylaw is trying to accomplish.
And I think that's important. I think some of the things that we've been trying to do is to make sure everybody knows what the process is.
Yeah,
And it's written there so anybody can find it,
Yep.
so that they don't have to not know what's gonna happen,
Yep.
right? Is there anything else?
no, do you want me to go, I can.
Yeah,
or
just go
Mark
through the
does it.
bylaw real quick.
Oh,
Mike.
yes, I'm
Mark.
yeah.
Sorry.
Attorney Sorrell?
Yeah, so in the context of the existing bylaws, we have very detailed technical requirements for connections,
Okay,
but this was omitted. And so therefore, we were in a position where, when we wanted to insist upon this, it became a potential pushback.
right.
So this way, we've got a very detailed, comprehensive bylaw that now includes this as well, so there's no question it's a requirement. You have to comply in order to connect.
Right.
And then Gus can speak to this more, but I think plumbing code requires an internal,
Gus?
interior grease trap, is that right?
Hello, Madam Chair and
Hi, Gus.
the rest of the EDC. Thank you. So that's an interesting statement, Doug, because the plumbing code just relaxed the interior requirements for a grease trap.
Okay,
So that,
well, it's good timing then.
they have businesses have the option now, if they have an exterior, they don't need an interior.
Excellent. Wow.
That's good.
Yeah,
That's good.
That's great.
It's good.
That's like a compromise in and of itself.
And to be honest with,
That sounds like
Maybe
something I would do.
and to be honest with you, I think that restaurant owners would agree, there's a lot of maintenance with an interior.
Right.
Because you've got other things in
Behind
the
the kitchen.
area of this nasty grease trap sometimes.
So it's like at the bottom of a sink, say, right, and it's in the kitchen. It's like nobody wants that there. Brutus, you wanna come up?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think it's also important to note that through this process, the interior grease traps really don't work that good, and Doug can explain to you about the heat that's generated. But I also think it's economically need to know that we're not looking to retrofit people. We usually just get the new folks that are coming to town, that they're building something new, or they're doing a major rehab. So we know there's a lot of restaurants in town that don't have an exterior grease trap, but when they make that decision to do a certain upgrade, that's when we go ahead and force this.
It triggers the
Yes,
change.
so it's not like, it's kind of like everything we do in town,
Title
like
V.
at the right time, we hit it, and it's, we're not, because the new business come in, they know it's gonna be a new expense. So that's the
Right.
time they do it, instead of going after someone that's been there for years.
Right,
So,
I get it.
just wanna let you know that.
Okay. Kobe?
Yeah, just trying to make sure I'm thinking through all the impacts of this. How much is an exterior grease trap? Roughly, do we know?
I think it depends on, yeah, Mike? Depends on the
Definitely would
size,
depend on the
range,
size,
of course.
location.
Yeah, the minimum size, all that's required through the Title V regulations that govern the septic system design. We would use the same requirements as those for the town sewer section, but they could run anywhere from $20,000 to $30,000 to $40,000. They can get very expensive very fast. It's a minimum 1,000-gallon tank that goes outside of a building. It's tied in to pick up just the kitchen flows before those flows go into the town sewer system. So it's an important maintenance piece to protect the town sewers, but it does get very expensive. And as Bruce had mentioned, usually we don't have people, just anybody who already has an ongoing business, they're pretty much not grandfathered in, but we won't necessarily require them to do one until there is a major renovation, or if there's a change of ownership in the facility also. That's also one of the triggers under the new bylaw. So if there's a change of ownership, they'll also have to install a new grease trap. So there are a number of them in town, but there's still a few older facilities that don't have them at all.
Okay, and what's the footprint that's required? Like, are there older facilities in town that struggle to even find the footprint? Like, if, you know, during a change in ownership?
It could be, one of the recent ones, was over by, where Franklin Nutrition was.
Yeah.
They put one in there to service that facility and the, Chinese food restaurant. We worked with the landlord, and they were able to tie both units into that one grease trap in the back. It was a small area, but they were able to work both businesses together to, get those both combined there. Some properties, it might be a little difficult, we'd have to look at that on a case-by-case basis, but a 1,000-gallon tank, I'd say maybe, I don't know, maybe like 6 to 8 feet wide, maybe 10 feet long, give or take, like a traditional septic tank.
Yeah, and it's all buried, so
And
the only thing
underground.
you see above ground is the manhole cover.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah.
can you, oh, so I'm sorry.
Oh,
I was
go
gonna
ahead.
ask if you could park on it and
Yep.
can you use the space?
Generally, if it's designed for parking, yeah, you could.
Okay.
Absolutely, when,
Is that what you were gonna ask?
No.
Okay. Sorry, I'm sorry, Kobe. Go ahead.
Madam Chair, sorry, I was just gonna add that when the alumni changed hands and they the new restaurant across the street, they
Yeah.
put one in their front parking lot there too. So there's one there, they just added that maybe about a year or so ago when they changed.
Okay.
So it's in the parking lot. Can go in the grassy area, parking lot, doesn't matter, wherever the plumbing's gonna work out, where they tie in the sewer lines.
Okay, thanks.
And so by practice, we've been asking, we just hadn't, we realized that we didn't have it in statute or in bylaw.
We've always treated it as a DPW policy, that
Yeah.
anytime we sign off on a building permit that involved a commercial kitchen, we would require that if they were on town sewer.
I think the Board of Health in partnership has always been the same thing. Because it's, both departments kind of oversee and have some level of guidance over this issue.
Do we have some sense of how common this is as a practice or policy
As far as other towns,
as far as other towns?
yes, it's pretty common, and we actually, when we were putting this together,
Yeah,
came up with some samples.
we
from-
talked to Bellingham, MLS Medway, they all have some sort of exterior grease trap bylaw. So we
Yeah.
kind of took some of that language and brought it together.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, I think, right, my only fear would, you know, be unnecessary stressors on businesses. It seems like, I mean, Franklin Nutrition ended up being a great example of maybe the most difficult place to put one, and
Oh.
we were able to get it done. You know, it's still limited business, and I think that there are still impacts, but it seems doable. Yeah,
Through you,
Jamie?
Madam Chair, quickly, actually, that was a really big success story.
seemed like it. Yeah.
The
yeah,
landlord
that's
at
what
the
I'm
time, the ownership changed, but the landlord was actually gonna stick the bill with the new tenant.
Right.
And we've
I
done a
remember
really
that.
good job as a team for a long time, kind of working as a team, and, and Kathy's been great at this, Gus, everybody, Brutus, we go up and we meet with the owners, and that was one where actually the costs got split up. So not one tenant was getting kind of hit with a big bill, because it is a capital improvement for the parcel.
Right.
Right? And so the owner of the parcel actually chipped in on that, but only after we got involved. The only other thing I would add, Councilor Frangillo, is kind of the issue around almost at this point, like almost equity in the town too, because the town's been doing this for like 2 decades. And so now most of the downtown commercial businesses and an overwhelming majority of a lot of the new buildings, if not most of them or all of them, all have them. So it almost, to stop that would almost mean like everybody had to do it for 20 years and now
Yeah.
some people wouldn't do it, right? So it's almost like an inverse inequity to the
Yeah.
investments that a lot of restaurants have made, which is good for the whole system. But this kind of basically just puts what we're doing in policy and code, and that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, again, the only thing I'm thinking through in this, I very much appreciate the intention. I think that this is all great. I just want to make sure that we're thinking through, really, it's just our downtown historic buildings where we want to welcome commercial activity. Most importantly, we want to welcome it there and encourage it there. Is such a policy going to be restrictive or even prohibitive of new commercial operations happening within the historic footprint of the downtown? And I'm getting some sense that that's not the case. But
So-
that's my only.
Most of the businesses downtown
I'm
have
not too
them.
worried about the shed.
Yeah, the shutters. Most of the downtown have them now. They've conformed over the long time. Mike can speak specifically. I think Depot Plaza still needs one.
With the
Former Acapulco's. But there's a great
Yeah.
example with change of ownership. Actually installing a grease trap on that property would invite a lot of opportunity too, because then you really could do a restaurant. What people keep saying is ice cream, froyo, whatever people envision, breakfast. So if you were to rehab that parcel and you put in a grease trap, that actually brings opportunity in.
Yeah, just if it prevents the rehab from happening in the first place, that would be the fear. But I guess we're talking 2040 within the sale of a multi-million-dollar property.
Yeah,
That's probably
Right.
it probably comes and it
It's the
increases
cost
the
of doing
value of
Increases the value
of the
of the property,
business.
yeah.
Right. Increases the value of the parcel for sure.
If I may, as an example, when Acapulco's moved to Union Street, they added one over to that facility.
remember
Teddy Gallagher's downtown, when they moved in, they actually put one in over there too, so
Okay.
there's one in that building.
Okay.
The coffee
Oh, for,
Birchwood?
Birchwood already had one.
Intermission?
Yep.
intermission.
Yeah, they're tied into that too,
Yep.
so, yeah. So there are ways to find to make it work.
And Santa Fe Burrito does, I
They
believe.
have-
They have one.
Okay. Great.
Franklin House of Pizza,
Freaking House of Pizza.
they just reopened, they have one now.
Okay. Yeah. That, no. Yeah.
Mark, do you have a comment on this?
Yeah, the countervailing public policy thing, which was alluded to, was protection of our sewer system because of what can happen if you don't have it. There was a prior establishment that doesn't exist anymore, but they had a dispute between who was responsible, the tenant and the landlord. It wasn't getting done, and not only did it back up repeatedly, but it was a wetland area to boot. So it caused our sewer main to back up periodically and also to contaminate a wetland area because, as we know, coincidentally, a lot of the sewer mains run through wetland areas. So
Interesting.
there are public issues at risk if you don't do.
Okay.
Not good?
Cool.
Brian?
Could I just speak to the violation part of this for a second?
Absolutely. We didn't give Doug a chance to tell us about it, but.
Oh, okay, yeah, no,
But-
that's the only, that was my only, but good,
But if you
no,
let Doug go through the
you want me to
bylaw
go through it?
quickly
Okay.
and then,
Yep.
and then.
thank you.
All right, through you, Madam Chair. The first part of the section kind of goes over some definitions, what is a commercial kitchen, what is a food service establishment, what exactly is an exterior grease trap, what FOG is, so fats, oil, and greases, that's the acronym FOG. We talk about in here septitaller, so that'd be the person that would come clean the exterior grease trap, who the town agent is. And then the next section goes into exterior grease traps when they're required, how they need to be sized. Like Mike said, it's based on Title V regulations. And then reporting requirements. So that was something that was missing kind of from before is these exterior grease traps would go in, but we had no idea if they were getting serviced, who was pumping them out and that kind of stuff. So we've established some reporting requirements that will happen through when businesses renew their permits with the Board of Health. They'll have to upload some documentation of, we had this septic hauler pump it out, that kind of stuff. So that'll be helpful. Kind of goes over the inspection requirements, different things that they need to do, and then the violations, as Councilor Chandler was talking about. So the first thing, like any violation, is a written notice. So if we notice that you're not inspecting or there's problems and it's not working correctly, we'll give you a written notice and a time period to correct that deficiency. And then obviously, if it goes unrecognized or unfixed, then there's a statute of violations and fines that we, and Mark can speak to this better, that we have the right to fine the individual or the business or whoever it is. So that's it in a nutshell. It's pretty straightforward. Any questions?
Does it say how long between the violations you allow before there's a second violation?
Each day is a violation.
Each day?
Each
Okay,
day.
all right, thank you, Mark. Do you have anything else to add, Attorney Sorrell?
On the violations, those are statute, right? The numbers, the
No,
dollar limits?
No, but
They're-
actually, the state caps what you can have for
That's what
Okay.
it was, yeah.
maximum fine for a local bylaw, which is $300. This progressive and each day being a separate offense is pretty consistent throughout the bylaw, the rest of our bylaws.
Okay. Counselor Chandler, do you have any questions about that?
That was an excellent first question by you. I appreciate that. So first, Director of Public Works, you always are the first man for the violations, I see.
I'm glad my name was finally left out.
I know, it is. The water
Usually
police,
Jeff had
everything.
the TA.
Okay, so it's you and obviously Kathleen are the main two that would give the violations?
Correct, and I think like anything else, it's, I always make the joke, I hate being the water police, the snow police, and everything else. The cases has come up, to us, it's not really about the violation. When we get there, it's about fixing the problem. And usually the fix of the problem is empty it, or they're doing something else, or maybe it's not designed right. So that's usually what we try to do. I mean, very rarely do we actually try to find somebody that you just keep going after. And we're not looking to get someone $300 a day, we just want to fix the problem. The other thing that's unique in these systems, for the most part, is the grease traps on their property, and the sewer line, you go from the sewer line to the property, like on a house or restaurant, all the way to the street. So if the system's not working, it's gonna back up on private property. You follow me? It doesn't necessarily make it out to our system. Sometimes it does, there are bypasses, or we can see we're cammering it, but for the most part, if the system does fail, it's gonna fail on their property. And if they have grease on their property, they wanna get it cleaned up, because obviously someone's gonna see it. So they work with us. The one case that Mark was talking about, it was a very unique situation, and what happened was it kept overflowing, and then it kept going into the wetlands adjacent to it. I don't think we need to bring the property up, but.
No,
And we actually ended up working with that renter, because the owner was kind of difficult. But we actually did a modification for a really safe interior grease trap that was actually down in the basement, because of the access out there was very difficult because of the high water table and all these other things that were going on. So once again, we're just trying to work with the folks. We're just trying to protect the system for all the ratepayers, what we're trying to do.
Right.
It's not about the fines, Mr. Chairman.
Right, because I also see it's non-criminal. So
Correct.
you,
Right.
I mean, I know you actually never really get the police involved in.
No.
That's what I mean. There's not gonna be men with,
well, the other thing is, you got a big nut to crack, as they've indicated, to put the system in. If you've got fines piling up, that gives you some encouragement. You can't just sit there and disregard it, because it's gonna cost you, and you're still gonna be forced to do it, because there's the option to go to court to enforce the bylaw if need be.
and that was my last question, because it just showed the third violation, and I didn't know if they could actually be shut down after the third violation. Or we'd have to just do.
He
the
doesn't
court.
have authority, whether the Board of Health
Yeah,
does on
it's-
a separate basis, I don't know.
Agent
That would
Liberty.
Okay, so we would.
Through the chair. It would depend on the severity of the problem, for us to shut a food establishment down, right?
Yeah.
And like Brutus said, we like to work with our food establishment, the people, and work with them and try to get them to comply. I also want to add too, we're out there twice a year as a rule, and if we will look at the logs and the records to make sure that it is being cleaned up properly, and if it's not, then that would go on our violation form as well. So when we do a reinspection, usually everything gets done, so.
Okay, so last question is, we do the court route first before there's any shutting of any doors?
Right.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
great. Thank you, Madam Chair.
thank you, Counselor Chandler. Is there any other comments? No? No? I think this is, like, we went to I saw the biggest grease trap ever, I think, in the Charles River waste treatment plant down in the basement, and Counselor
Sure, yeah, you went
Counselor
down.
Sheridan and I went down with Doug, right? We went down and we saw the big grease trap there. That was very interesting. So I just want to, so you inspect the restaurants twice a year,
Yes.
Kathy, right? And then how often would they have to clean out the grease trap? Is that every 2 years or is it every year?
I think the bylaw says every 3 months.
Every 3 months? Is that what it says? I was looking for it, but.
At least every 3 months or at a
Okay.
frequency deemed necessary to prevent any
Oh,
potential
like-
blunders. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Alright.
Yeah, and I think it really depends on the size and of the business.
At least every 3
So
months.
like a
Doesn't mean-
smaller
okay.
business is not gonna need as much as versus like a larger, like I don't know, like the railery or something like that.
Right.
Where they got more, you know.
Okay. All right, thank you. Interesting. I'm all for putting processes in place where everyone will know what's expected of them. And it makes it easier for everybody to do their job and to, run their business. And I think if we're already doing this, then we should just do it. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, I would take a motion. We're gonna move this to the town council, or what are we gonna do?
That's right, Madam Chair. You would recommend this to the town council, and then this one doesn't need to go to the planning board, so the council will just go through its own readings, probably in June.
Okay,
It'll be the month of June. It'll be ready for probably July 1.
all right. I would take a motion to move this to the full council.
So moved.
Yeah, second. I thought he was giving the motion.
Well, I mean, that's the motion, right? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. It moves to the town council. Thank you all so much, your staff, wonderful staff that we have. Thanks for bringing this up to us. And with that, that's it, right? That was our agenda for tonight. Thank
Motion
you.
to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Good night. Thanks for watching.
Thank you, everybody.
Recording stopped.
Great team as always out there.